Today I'm going to unbox my Class 43 from Bachmann, which has just arrived for Christmas. So as you can see, it's in the Bachmann box, D865 Zealous in maroon. Memory for me for when I grew up, that I remember how ugly these locomotives used to look, but it was sort of like a beautiful ugliness, hence why I've now bought one. So what we're going to do is just take it out the box, and I'm going to set it up just to make sure that it runs okay with 12 volts before we fit a decoder in it. So and I haven't got a test track set up today, so I'm going to just connect some power up to it. So let's open the box. So standard Bachmann packaging, which will face to one side as we get the locomotive out. Try and lift it out nice and gently as it comes out. Detailed impact on the back, together with care and instructions, which we'll have a look at to see how we actually go about fitting the DCC decoder in it in a while. So we'll put those to one side, box out of shot, and huge detailed pack in there with all sorts of things in it. So probably not be fitting any of those. So sliding out of the packet, just these are packed to one side, and this is we're trying to figure out the puzzle of how to open it. So there we go, out it comes. And what I've got here is my cradle, servicing cradle, just to put that in where we'll put the locomotive in upside down. So out it comes. Very weighty locomotive, as nearly all Bachmann locomotives are. So nice and powerful there, nice and strong, good weight on it. So just checking it over here to make sure that everything is fine. So it looks like everything is attached. So we'll place that gently in our cradle, just make sure everything's okay. On the bottom, a couple of switches that turn the tail lights on and off, and the cab lights on and off. Currently both set to on at the moment. So just getting 12 volts from my little power supply on the side here, which is a bit of DCC. So what we'll do is give it a bit of power and see how it runs. So turn the control on, just see if we can find some contact here for the wheels. So all running quite nicely there, seems to run nice and free. So yeah, should run it in really, but let's just get on with fitting the decoder. Although having said that, always best to try running the opposite way. So running quite nicely in both directions, so happy with that. So we'll turn the power off, my power supply, and we'll have a look at the instructions to see how to fit the DCC decoder. Here we are again with the locomotive, and just two screws to take it apart, one there and one there, which we'll just undo to get the body off. So just feeling gently to make sure that the screws are biting. So I think we got that one, and then we'll go for the other side. Seems to be engaging better than the other. So now it's just a case of, see if we have actually got the screws off, which we have. So that's a bit of luck. So just lift it up very, very carefully. Notice in that there's a few delicate little wires in there, so we'll just turn this around so that we can just lay it on its back that way. So here we have the space where the blanking plug is for. So here's the blanking plug for the 21 pin decoder, and before we fit the decoder, I'll just have to set it up ready to go, which requires putting on a keepalive, which is with it as well. So I'll just solder that one up. Here we have the decoder, which is a Zen DCC Component Concepts decoder, 21 pin, together with its keepalive set of capacitors, which not that this locomotive should need it, but it's always good to have that just in case there's the odd dirty bit on the track, so this should keep this one going. So I'll just make off the ends of the wires so that I can then solder them up together. So again, wire cutters, just to wire strippers rather, just to clean the ends up. So just take off about a centimetre of wire, and trying not to take the actual copper out underneath it. So there's the blue one and there's the black one done. So same thing on our keepalive. We'll just straighten out the wires first of all before we do anything with it, because we'll need to attach those to wherever we're going to fit them. So same thing again, just terminate the wires this end, a little bit of a length of wire on this one, so we don't have to take quite so much off. So yeah, again about a centimetre. Now at this point, what I like to do is to fit some heat shrink tubing over it, which we'll try to find a small piece of, as we have some rather large sizes in here. So it helps to support the joint, because it can be a very weak part in terms of how the system is put together. So just snip off about 2 centimetres of that. Two of them. Should use different colours, but I'm just going to use the one colour for today. So just thread them over first. Always difficult to fit if you've not already put them on in place afterwards. So something that's quite easy to forget about. So get the two black wires together and just twist those up and twist them around each other to make a good strong physical joint before you solder it. So the stronger that is, so that's a nice decent pull, gentle tug on that, just make sure it's nice and secure. Same thing for the blue wire as well, and it's just a case of wrap them over each other. It's always important with solder joints that you try to make good physical mechanical joints, because then they will tend to stay together better once you solder them together. So even though the solder foam's quite a strong bond on there, it's always good to have a nice strong. So here we are again, ready to solder. Now my soldering iron's warmed up, so always important to clean your soldering iron first, then just test it out, make sure that the solder's going to melt on the bit, which yes it is, nice and hot. Lots of smoke coming off there, so just a case of soldering across the wires I joined before. So just get your solder to flow gently, that's a good connection there. Same thing on this one. Just get the flow over the tin joint, so yeah, that looks like a good joint to me. So that should be soldered iron almost done with for a moment. If you use a pair of pliers just to apply a bit of cooling to the joint, that should just nicely cool it down. End up with a bit of a blob of solder on there, which is not the nicest job in the world. Must be a bit enthusiastic with it, but let's have a look, see if that fits inside. It does just about. So just slide the heat shrink sleeving up, and this is again another use for a soldering iron, just to shrink the sleeving on the top. So just rubbing that down. I use a pair of pliers because it gets a bit warm. So just see if we can get that all the way around, make that nice and tight and hold the joint nice and safe and secure. So just make sure we get everywhere, up and down. So there we go, that's that one done. and get the second one sorted. So I'll just adjust my clamp a little bit. Soldering iron down a minute. Whilst we do that, slide that over the top. So we're there now. And again, just crimp the end whilst we shrink it down. So there we go. Just rub your soldering iron over it, shrinks the plastic down onto the insulated wires, nice and tight. And hold the other end whilst we tighten up this bit. Try not to touch the insulation of the wire that you soldered to. So there we have it. And that's soldering iron done with for the moment. So we'll turn that off. So now it's time to return to the locomotive. So we'll just remove the little clamp. So that's the little chip board we need to take out. So just a gentle screwdriver underneath it, and then we'll just prise it off ever so gently, just to make sure it's going to come up. So key thing is to apply pressure from both ends, and just be slow with it. Just raise the pins slowly, piece by piece, and there it is. It's out now. So there it is. That's that come out, and this is where we get our little board, which should go in this way round. So we will just line that up on the top, and just lean those wires off to this side now, and hopefully that should keep it clear of the speaker pad this time. So pop the top over, gently feeling for as it goes down. So right that side, just needs a little bit of encouragement on this one. We're almost there. Oh, yeah, somebody's keeping us up in the air. So nearly in. Well, that might be it. We may be able to tighten the screws up. Let's have a look. So nowhere near it. Okay. So I've got the screws holding it off now. screw coming there. Where that's come from? Oh, okay, that goes in there. So after a bit of fiddling, we've now got the top back on, so now it's time to reprogram the decoder. All part of running in the logo. Problem I had before was I put the decoder in upside down, swapped that over, and it's now working fine. Took a little bit of time to set up the programming, as these things always do with CVs, but it's all working now. So she just needs to be run for a while just to loosen everything up, but she's running really nicely. Lovely slow starter, looks superb. A few details to fit, which we'll do over the next couple of days, and that's a working engine.